Hello everyone, welcome to Pep and Prep Talks. Today we are covering another cracking the software interview experiences. Well, not going to lie, the more the merrier, as you'll get the perfect idea about the software interview processes. On this episode, I have Aditya Nath, who has pursued BTech in CS from VIT Vellore and has the experience of pulling off two internships and landing a job role in his final year. So, Aditya, it's really amazing to have you here, and I'm really excited for what you have to say regarding the whole placement process.
Thank you, Bilwa. It's really nice to be here and share my experience.
Okay, so let us start with the questions now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so how are your overall emotions like about the placement process until you got placed?
Okay, so for me, like placements were not the final destination. Like it's just the beginning to get different companies coming in the placement and set for the companies. Like I from the very beginning I was very clear what my potential is, like how much I know, what skills I have gained that I can just implement in the test process. And there was no comparison between different my friends or different people getting placed in big companies, good MNCs. Because if we know like what kind of skills we have, and like what is our like what are we going to do in the placement process, in the test process. So I think it is kind of makes you feel less nervous,
Mm.
and the outcome is very good. So I'll put it as, you just don't compare your skills, your different
Your journey,
di-
basically.
yeah, to different people, so that you won't be nervous, there won't be any stress and anxiety, and you will just give your best in the placement process.
Yeah, I agree to this. Yeah, so you told me that you did two internships, one at Capegemini and other one at ENY. So, how are the interview processes for this like?
Okay, so the first one that I did was at ENY. So that internship, like I got through off campus, like through referral. And the interview process for ENY was particularly like you have to send out your resumes, and they are just gonna look at it, whatever they do. And after that, I got a call that the resume is shortlisted for further interview process. And then there was a call from the HR and the tech team. So they basically asked questions pertaining to whatever I have given in my resume. So there were questions from earlier experiences. Now, like being a fresher, we can't actually have work experience. So what we have is, pre-internship experience as work experience on our resume. And there were some projects. So after going through all that, like they must have analyzed that these experiences kind of connect to what I'll be doing at EY as an intern.
Mm.
So after that, the interview process, and I got the call that like I got that internship. So yeah, that was completely about EY. And sorry, and for Cape Gemini, so that was from the campus. So like the whole interview process is divided into three parts. So the first one is the online test that we have usually for all the companies. Then the second one is the technical interview, and the last one was HR interview. So in the first round, that is the online test round, the complete test was further subdivided into like five modules. So the first module was related to pseudocode test assessment. The second module was multiple choice questions that were verbal and quants, that is English and mathematics. So the third part was some game-based aptitude approach. Now, this game-based aptitude approach was kind of data interpretation. So, like you need to just observe in the screen, and you need to see the pattern, and you need to give the answer. Like that sort of game-based aptitude test. And the last one was behavioral competency profiling. So basically, they have questions regarding your professional behavior at work, regarding your personal behavior, and how would you connect your professionalism and personal life. How are you going to do some work in team, or how are you going to just proceed with individual work. So that was like behavioral competency profiling. That was, you need to rate yourself, I think, in the scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, I don't remember. So like
Mm.
these all were like in the first round, that is the online test round for Cape Gemini.
Mm.
Now, going to the technical round. So the technical round was virtual round, that is video virtual interview. So there were questions related to coding concept. Now since this like Capgemini like just acquired a company known as Altran, so it's really it's like mainly software development kind of company. So there were questions regarding coding, and since like it is a virtual interview, so we have access to chats, right? So like the interviewer asked me to just write the code and send. And so there were questions from arrays, pointers, some software engineering concepts, and a prior experience. So I was working at EY at that time as an intern, so I just told them what I'm doing. So I was working in a cybersecurity consulting service department, so I just told them. And last was HR interview. So there were questions like, tell me something about yourself, your background, your family. And one more question was uh, why do you want to work in the company, what kind of experience you bring for the company, like that.
Okay, great. That's like a very detailed description you gave.
Yeah.
And can you tell us the Bank of America process in brief too, the company which you are working in like currently?
Okay, so again, BOA, like I got the offer from campus. So the complete interview process was divided broadly into four different rounds of interview. The first one was test. Now, like the online test we have now, in Bank of America, like there was a twist. So the test contained like five questions. So two questions were coding questions, like theoretical coding questions. You need to code, you need to compile and run. And
Mm.
three questions out of that five question where you need to record a video. It was very different for me. Like I did not had this kind of experience in any other test that I gave. So three questions. First question was like what kind of experience and training you had that is going to be helpful for the company. You need to record a 2 to 3 minute video. You need to speak and you need to just record in their
Mm-hmm.
portal. So the second and third question were coding question. The fourth question was you need to explain the third coding question verbally. So you again need to record that. And the final one was do you have anything else to tell the bank that what experience you have and what all you did that is going to be get connected to the role that is being offered. So yeah, so that was first round. The second round was technical interview, and so in technical interview, there were questions from database management system. There were questions from software engineering life cycle, agile and different software engineering uh, there are different techniques like waterfall and agile and all that kind of software engineering life cycle. So there were questions from that. And the final round was a combination of tech and HR round. So there were questions from tech like pertaining to what role do you want, what kind of work you want to do, and HR round was just collaborated with that round. So why do you want company and all that.
Okay, great. So, did these internship experiences give you an edge while you were applying for the company you are currently selected in? For example, you said, right, you had to record the answers for the Bank of America process. So, how did it go?
Yeah, now this is again like a very good question. So basically, when you have previous brand on your resume, it is easier to attract brand in the future. So like this is a very like generalized concept that I have heard and that actually I have seen in my case. Apart from that, you get into a company solely on the basis of your content knowledge, that is your skill. If that's going to be a tech job, you need to have the required tech skill that is being asked by the company. And like similar kind of to the management side. So having brand of big four and a big tech company, so it kind of helped, I think, not only for that video process that you said. So I mentioned that I'm doing an internship in a company. So I worked in this department, cybersecurity, and all that. So obviously it must have helped. So that's why it went on for the next round. And in the final round, when you talk to the HR or the tech person, so they have your resume on their hand, so they know you actually kind of related to a brand. So you must have qualified certain kind of criterias, certain kind of standard you must have qualified, then only you are working in that company. So all that experience, so like the basic the main the new concepts that are like the new field that has come up, like cybersecurity, AI, and ML. So I kind of worked in cybersecurity, and in Bank of America, there are different departments like AI, ML, cybersecurity. I think all that kind of connected. So yes, once you like have previous brand, it's really easy to attract brand in the future.
I see. And okay, so this is completely unrelated now. What are the things that you generally like asked in an interview, and we should go through that before the interview round, just like a quick check, like okay,
Okay.
this is this, and then I'm going for an interview. What do you suggest that
Okay.
a person should prepare?
Okay. So, like pertaining to the content courses that you must have done in engineering, so we have courses like database management system, then we have operating system, software engineering, then like internet and web programming for web development and app development, all that. So these basic courses are like, and object oriented programming language, all the OOPS concept. So like you need to be thorough with the basic concept from all these. Like for me, there were questions from DBMS, software engineering, and OOPS, like the basic questions that we get.
Hmm.
And after that, also like through like if you are sitting in campus, like the campus basically starts from the month of July. So you make a resume, you just throw your resume in each of their portals, and after that you forget what you have actually mentioned in your resume. So being into a virtual interview, it is very easy that you can open a resume on your laptop, or you can have a printout, whatever actually suits you, we can do that. So like going through the resume, if the interviewer asks what kind of projects you have done, past experience you have done, so you should be relatable to what is there in the resume, because they have that in their hand. So I think revising the very basic concept and thorough with your resume, I think these two. And for yourself, like what is your hobby, what you want to do, all the basic stuff, you should be thorough with all that. Yeah.
Moving on to the next question. What these were some additional questions basically from the juniors. So I'll
Okay.
ask them. What to do during the placement phase to like leverage our time to the best? Like what to do to make it the most best
Okay.
preparation ever or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now this depends on what your dream companies are, like where you want to get placed. If you want to get placed in big tech, then I think you should put most of your time in clearing all the basics of DSNAs, algorithms. And after that, you need to like you need to have a very good command in any of the one coding language. Maybe it's Python, Java, C, C++. It depends. Then there are some subjects, core subjects of computer science and different engineering branches, such as software engineering. Then we have database management system, we have operating system, we have internet and web programming. So all these, the basic concept of all these subjects should be very clear, because there are companies including the big tech which ask you to basically debug the code and everything, to give the queries of MySQL. So you need to be very clear with all that. And apart from the content knowledge that you need to go through, you should also like pay attention to your CV, because we kind of make the CV in the beginning of the placement season, and we just throw the CV to every portal, and after that we forget what's there in the CV. So like most of the companies also ask the project and the experience that you have encapsulated on your CV. So I think it's very important to just go through the CV, and get all the points in your brain, that what you are going to say when the person is going to ask you about that particular project that you have described of.
Right, right. And how to keep yourself going even after like the failing interviews, tests.
Okay, so I think like we kind of answered this in the very first question. So basically, like I think every failure is going to give you an experience. So you are going to do better in the next. So if you are failing in the test process, that is the first round of the interview process. If you are not able to clear the quants and the verbal and the coding round, then of course you need to go through, because all these are like content knowledge, quants and all. You have certain formulas, you have certain recipes, so that you can solve the problem in real quick. So you need to go through all that. Verbal, I think it depends on how much vocabulary that you have done, the quantity of thesaurus that you have in yourself. So these two, and coding depends, like you have to practice. And after that, the failure, if there is a failure in tech and HR round, that is basically interaction with that particular person. So you need to just figure out, in the companies that you got, that that kind of you failed, you need to figure out, what didn't work and what you have to change so that it work in the next company. So I think you just need to learn, you need to get experience from your failure and just implement it, correct it for the future company that you would be getting invited for to sit in the interview process.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we are done with all the questions. So
Okay.
any final advice you would like to give the people who will be attending placement season soon?
Okay, so the final advice is like be calm, because the situation right now is not good. We all know, everything is topsy-turvy, and you need to be calm. You just don't need to compare, anybody else's acceptance or acceptance and rejection. You be very calm. Don't take stress, because it will go nowhere, because any of your friends or any of you, whom getting placed in XYZ company, or you getting placed in ABC company, it doesn't matter, because in the future, he is not going to, like, he's not, if you are seeing the CTC, basically, like, people go with the CTCs and all. So if you have that in mind, if you have, very quench for a good CTC, nobody is, giving you, or you are not giving to anybody. So be calm, and just, I think, enjoy the process. It's like complete 1 year for most of the colleges. So more than 1 year, if colleges are good, the career development center are good, I think they roll over companies to next year also. So I think just enjoy the process, be calm, and give your best. That's all.
Okay, great. Wow. Those were some really detailed answers, I must say. And considering you have so much experience, you gave out way too many advices and tips, which I am pretty sure will be helpful to people applying for software roles in the near future. So, thank you so much for giving time for this episode, Aditya. Means a lot.
Thank you for having me on your podcast. Thank you so much.